Hi, Kylie.
Yes.
Hey, you can come on in. My name's Alexis. I wanted to thank you for coming to career counseling today. Have you ever been to career counseling or anything like that in the past?
I actually haven't now.
So this is your first time?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, well, so I want to kind of discuss what we're going to be going over in our next few sessions. And to go from that, I'd like to know a little bit more about you and some of your past experience that you've had in your career. And near the end of this, I'll have you take some career assessments and we'll discuss your results from those. And in the next session, see what you think of those results and help you find a direction in your career going forward. How's that sound?
Sounds perfect to me.
Okay. So just tell me a little bit about yourself so I can get to know your background and a little bit more about you.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be 24 actually next weekend, so I'm up
Happy
there.
early birthday.
Thank you. So I'm up there in age, but whenever when I was younger, I've always been the type to help people. I always like playing doctor or vet and stuff like that. So I always wanted to go into like something in a field like that. My senior year, I was very big into sports all my life. I did cheerleading. I played soccer at one point. Played softball for 14 years. I was a gymnast, so I did it. I pretty much did it all, and I always liked being active. So my senior year, I visited some colleges, and when I applied at Cal for athletic training. I applied at UPJ for nursing and Slippery Rock for athletic training as well. And I decided that I did want to go the athletic training path, so I got accepted at Cal, and I went into the program all ready for it. Was really excited, and honestly, after taking my one exam in anatomy and physiology, realizing this probably isn't the best career path for me. So I ended up changing my major to criminal justice, actually, because, and with a minor in psychology, because I was like, okay, well, I could always be a counselor with juveniles. And I always thought that was like a really good career path, and that's what I really wanted to do. So as semesters gone on, probably beginning of my junior year, I I was kind of like, well, maybe I should switch my major and minor. So I ended up switching my major to psych and then minoring in criminal justice. This way, then I could go further in my degree and get my master's in like counseling. So during that time, though, I also worked as a chiropractic assistant. So I was always around people, still helping when needed. Um, I still would go back to my old alumni, kind of help with softball if need to be. That just was always around. But when I did my senior year internship, I actually did my internship at a high school or at a primary center for K through 1, and I like pursuing for counseling. I mean, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I fell in love with the school aspect. I loved it. Fell in love with the school counseling aspect. I liked the idea of being able to help kids in that, like, kind of in that environment. Um, really, them not really knowing their emotions at that point in time. So, like, that really was interesting to me. How 1 minute a kid could throw a complete temper tantrum, and then the next day be happy go lucky kid. So that really like interested me. So I fell in love with that, and I took a year off once I graduated in December 2019, and I applied for the school counseling degree and got in, started fall of 2020, and here I am now. So there's really nothing, I don't think there's like really anything that I wouldn't want to do, but I always wanted to work around people. Like I've always been a people person.
Mm-hmm.
especially children. Children have always been a big thing, so I'm kind of like there. So
Yeah. Well, thank you for telling me all that. I think that helps kind of get the bigger picture of where you've been and where you're at now. Um, so over the course of the next session, I'm going to give you some career assessments to take, and then we'll discuss your results in the next session. How does that sound?
that sounds great.
Sounds good? Okay. All right. Hi, Kylie. Welcome back. So after sending you home with some of the assessments to do for today's session and going over your results, how did you feel about your results and everything that you took with the assessments?
I mean, I think I felt pretty good. There was some in there that I was kind of like, oh really? Like, oh, I didn't realize this, and like it was kind of like eye opening as well, but in a good way because it broadened my outlook on things. So that
Mhm.
definitely helped. But
So there were some careers that kind of shocked you in a way and that you were surprised to see?
yeah, like some that I never thought of was like going into, so to speak.
Okay.
So
Well, so I'm gonna go over your personality assessment with you. I'm gonna share my screen. And, okay, can you see it?
it's coming up. There it is. We're good now.
Okay. So here it has the personality assessment that you took. Um, you are the personality type that you are is a turbulent consul.
Okay.
And we'll go over that a little bit more in detail here in a few minutes. So your code, it's ESFJ. This just is referring to the 5 dominant traits, extroverted, observant, feeling, and judging. And then you have the dash, which is code for turbulent. So your role is sentinel, and this role determines your goals, interests, and preferred activities. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. And the strategy that you're listed under is social engagement. So this is how you approach everyday situations and achieve your goals.
Okay.
So going down here, it lists mind, energy, nature, tactics, and identity. And we're going to go through these. So when we look at mind, this trait determines how we interact with our environment. We have you here as 60% extroverted and 40% introverted. So it says here that you're mostly extroverted and you prefer group activities, you get energized by social interaction, and tend to be more enthusiastic and more excited than introverts. How does that result sound to you? Like how do you feel about that?
Okay, yeah, this actually sounds pretty much like me. Like I always get when I'm in like a big group, I'm very like outgoing. My friends always like tell me that like, I'm very easy to make friends. I'm very, outgoing, but also that 40% also kind of is like identical to me too because I do sometimes like to be by myself. I like
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
be very quiet, very like non-social, so to speak, at times. Like I like to be to myself. So, but yeah, no, I definitely am extroverted more so.
Okay, yeah. It seems like it's pretty much it's almost like equal in a way. So you definitely are more extroverted, but you do have your introverted moments. So um does that sound like you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So then we move on to energy. And this trait shows where you direct your mental energy. So you're 58% observant. So this means you're mostly observant and you're highly practical, pragmatic, and down to earth. You tend to have strong habits and focus on what is happening or has already happened. How does that sound?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely focus more on what has already happened, and I kind of like I want to say down to earth, because that kind of throws me off, because like, yeah, I can be laid back at times, but also like I am, when things have already happened, like I feel like that there should have been something I could have fixed during that time. So but I do tend to sometimes shut off the mental energy and, be laid back and kind of just relax if need to be, and
Mhm.
definitely, focus what is happening in that moment. So,
And then, so we move on to nature. And this trait determines how you make decisions and cope with your emotions. So here you are 73% feeling, which means you're mostly feeling. You're sensitive and emotionally expressive. You're more empathetic and less competitive than the thinking types. And you focus on social harmony and cooperation. Does that sound like you?
no, definitely.
Yeah,
So emotionally
that was
expressive.
not right.
Nope. I am up here when it comes to emotions. I will express them no matter what and have no problem doing it as well. So,
Mhm. So you would say you're more thinking than the feeling.
um, maybe I very well could be, but also where it's like the more empathetic, like I am very empathetic. Like I don't, like they said, less competitive. Like I don't like competing. Like um I don't like, put it this way, when it comes to competing, I don't like competing with others when it comes to emotions.
Hmm.
I'm always the type of person that's like, you feel how you feel. You're like, your emotions are valid. So I would say feelings is right, but also like I can be thinking as well. So
Right? Maybe it needs to be more like 50-50, or maybe
yeah,
feeling like 60-40.
yeah, definitely.
Then we're moving on to tactics. This trait reflects your approach to work, planning, and decision making. And here you are mostly judging with 74%. Um, Judging individuals are decisive, thorough, and highly organized. You value clarity, predictability, and closure, preferring structure and planning to spontaneity. How accurate is that for you?
Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure. See, no, that's planning to spontaneity. I'm not really spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I like things. I'm definitely highly organized though. Like I like things to be precise. I need to know the plan. So, which is why like the spontaneity like is different for me, because like I'm again not spontaneous. Like I just don't do things at random. Like I have to know why I'm doing those things and when it needs to be done.
Right.
So, but other than that, everything else seems, yeah, right.
Okay. And then, so we move into identity. And so this trait underpins all others, showing how confident you are in your abilities and decisions. Here, you're 81% turbulent, you're self conscious and sensitive to stress. You're likely to experience a wide range of emotions and to be success driven, perfectionistic, and eager to improve. Um, how accurate is that for you?
Very, very accurate. I always get I don't want to say yelled at because that's not the right word. I always get told that I need to stop being a perfectionist and just go with the flow, because that is one of my worst traits about me.
Mm-hmm.
Something is not perfect, then it's not right.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely get self-conscious about certain things, definitely, like for sure. I am definitely big with stress. I stress over every little thing imaginable, because again, if it's not perfect, how how do you go about with it?
Right. So that's pretty on par with
Oh yeah.
what you would say.
Oh yes, for sure.
Okay. I'm just gonna quit sharing my screen for a second, and I'm gonna pull up the rest of your personality type. I'm gonna share anything. turn my video on. Okay. So can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so here we're going to talk more about your personality type. It was that code that we saw earlier. It was the ESFJ-A or ESFJ-T, which you were the T. Mm-hmm. So here we'll go over a little bit of the introduction of that. So here it just says people who are the Consul personality type, for lack of a better word, are popular, which makes sense given that it is also a very common personality type. It makes up 12% of the population. In high school, consuls are the cheerleaders and the quarterbacks, setting the tone, taking the spotlight, and leading their teams forward to victory and fame. Later in life, consuls continue to enjoy supporting their friends and loved ones, organizing social gatherings, and doing their best to make sure everyone is happy. How accurate is that for what you think?
Yeah, pretty accurate because I, was a cheerleader in high school, so that definitely kind of like hit the like nail on the head. But yeah, like I'm always, again, even from a distance, if I don't talk to my friends regularly or or anything like that, I'm always cheering for them from in the background. So definitely.
Okay, so that's pretty adds up with your personality pretty well. So here we're going to go through, it says the wisdom of tradition. You can kind of read over that for a minute.
Yeah, there's a part in there that says like enjoy the role that allows them to participate in a meaningful way, so like they know that they're valued and appreciative. I'm definitely big into that. Like I always want to make sure that I can help in any way possible, and I always value when someone tells me like thank you for doing this, or it always just makes me feel good that I was able to help them in a time of need.
So that's like a good motivation for you, is hearing others, kind of encourage you and see that you're doing well, like just giving you that support.
Yes, definitely.
So here under ready to help, it says you're supportive and outgoing. Consuls can always be spotted at a party. They're the ones finding time to chat and laugh with everyone. Your devotion goes further than just breezing through because they have to. Consuls truly enjoy hearing about their friends' relationships and activities, remembering little details and always standing ready to talk things out with warmth and sensitivity. How does that sound like to you? Like, would you say that that's pretty accurate with your personality, like warmth and sensitivity? And
oh yeah, yes, definitely. I'm very, very again, loving and caring. Like I always want to make sure everyone's okay, and obviously I always want to make sure they do better than I do. I put others before me, so to speak. So.
Right. And so like with your progressing forward, I know you said you had an internship where you were in a school. You really like that. Can you see like where that personality would kind of go over into your career?
Yes, definitely, for sure.
All right, so then we're going to move on to strengths and weaknesses. Let's see. So some of your strengths, it says strong practical skills, a strong sense of duty, you're very loyal, sensitive and warm, and good at connecting with others. I know you said, you're very sensitive and warm, and you have that strong sense of duty, like to make everybody else happy, and you like getting like the feedback and support from others saying like you're doing a good job and things like that.
Yeah,
Did these sound pretty on par with your personality?
Definitely, like the very loyal. Like I've always been very big into like I want to make sure that you can always trust me and know that I'm always there for you, and I I don't know. I just always been like that. Like I never liked, calling off work, or I never liked not showing up for my internship. Like I always tried to make sure like I was there even in times that like I was like sick, but not enough to where I was like, I obviously couldn't go into work. Like I
Right.
don't want to go to work if I was like completely sick to the point where I'd get others sick, but I always hated missing when I was sick.
Right. Like that would kind of like take a toll on you because you felt maybe like you were um, letting them down or something.
Yes, definitely.
So then we're going to go over some of your weaknesses. Worried about their social status, inflexible, reluctant to innovate or improvise, vulnerable to criticism, and often too needy, and too selfless. Do any of these stick out to you, or that you want to talk more about?
Kind of the um, oh, what was it called? The worried about their social status.
Mm-hmm.
I never really cared about my social status, especially like in high school. Like that never bothered me. I never like cared to be popular. I never cared to be the outcast. I never cared to be like any of those, status quo or social norms or, you know, those kind of things in high school. But I mean, I guess if you want to think like social status, how it says like, preoccupation with social status influences, I guess maybe it means with influences like I'm scared that I wouldn't be a good influence. I
Mm-hmm.
maybe if
Okay.
that's what they're trying to say. I mean,
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah, I mean, I definitely probably would be worried about that more so than anything, but everything else, yeah. I,
Okay. So these are pretty much all you. I'm gonna go over into career paths now since we are in career counseling. So it says here that because consuls traits are so strongly expressed, leading with practical sense and social vigor, the careers they find most satisfying usually revolve around making the best of these qualities. Consuls are well organized, enjoying bringing order and structure to their workplaces, and often work in best environments with clear, predictable hierarchies and tasks. Monotony and routine work are not a challenge for the consul personality type, as they are happy to do what needs to be done. I think, with what you're saying so far about your personality, it very much seems like, you're happy to do and complete what needs to be done. Does that sound right?
yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, under altruistic motivations, if you want to read that and, just give your thoughts about what that says.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely believe, but to make sure again that everything kind of goes organized and smooth and just not the environment but like with everyone else. I always believe that if everyone likes what they're doing and is happy with the way it's going, that the work is going to flow very nicely, and everything's going to just kind of come together nicely. So
Mm-hmm. So one word that like stuck out to me with everything that you were saying was dependability. Sounds like you've been like a very dependable worker, dependable in your internship, and just dependable overall. Does that like sound about right?
yeah, definitely, for sure.
And let me go down here. Here it says, being as altruistic as they are, consuls find it hard to be satisfied unless they know they've done something valuable for another person. This is often the driving force behind consuls' careers and career advancements, and making religious and counseling particularly rewarding. So whatever they choose to do, consuls' personalities, comfort with busy social situations, and practical knowledge and skills come together to create people who are not just able to be productive and helpful, but who genuinely enjoy it. So how does that make you feel after you reading that?
I mean, yeah, it sounds like me, definitely. Like I don't know, it
Okay.
just kind of, again, like I said, I've always been, I've always liked being social gatherings. Like I've always been very social, like a little social butterfly. So like I'm okay with working in, busy social situations and,
Mhm.
all of that. Like I'd rather be busy when doing something
Right.
and not just sitting back and waiting for something to be done.
Okay. So let's see. I am going to close out of this. Okay, so now that we went over all of that, I'm going to bring up your focus assessment that you took, and we're going to go through that.
Okay.
So let me share my screen with you again. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this was your focus 2. And here under the work interest assessment, we have here the social, conventional, and investigative. So under social, this would be like the helpers, conventional is the organizers, and I is for investigative, the thinkers. So under the social, the helpers, says you prefer to work with others with a team and approach to problem solving. You enjoy teaching, caring for others, volunteering, mediating disputes, meeting new people, and working in groups. You're highly verbal, express yourself well, and get along well in groups. You describe yourself as cooperative, friendly, and understanding. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, it sounds pretty on point with it.
Yeah, I think it sounds pretty on par with everything that we discussed thus far. With you kind of thriving in the social type of situations, whether it be in personal life or professional career life.
Yeah, definitely.
So then we go to conventional. This is where you would prefer orderly, systematic work, such as keeping records, organizing written and numerical materials according to a plan. You like to see things run efficiently and smoothly. Pay attention to administrative details. You enjoy working with numbers, using a computer, keeping accurate records, and organizing. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, no, that's good to see because I like to be organized. So like definitely with the, systematic work such as like, keeping the records, organizing written and numerical like material, like that would probably be so ideal for me, like just to make sure, things run, like I said, efficiently and smoothly because like everything then I know where it is and how it needs to be. So
So
yeah,
you'd say you're pretty organized as well, like with the social category, you're organized as well.
yes.
And then investigative, the thinkers, you have a strong desire to understand cause and effect and solve puzzles and problems. Often work in jobs that are scientific in nature. The work involves the analysis of data using formulas, graphs, and numbers. You enjoy using computers, solving math problems, interpreting formulas, and thinking abstractly. You also prefer to work independently with minimum supervision. So I'm also interested to hear your thoughts on that one because I know we discussed, you like to kind of work in a group setting. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, this one kind of threw me for a loop. And like I said in the very beginning, like there were some ones that I was kind of like, oh. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this one definitely because like don't get me wrong, I like to, understand the cause and effect and solve puzzles and problems and I've always have been good at math like all my life. So and using computers, but like the working independently. Yeah, I like to work independently, but I also like to have others' ideas and I like to like kind of throw different opinions out there so that way I get a better variety and knowledge of what is my surrounding. I'd rather others because sometimes others have different viewpoints, have different ideas, can see different things than what you can. So
Absolutely.
I think that one definitely like kind of throws me off a little bit, but also can see some of the points in it as well.
Right. Well, I think like if we look back to your initial personality assessment where it kind of said, I think you were at 60% extroverted and 40 introverted. I think, it's almost like a balance in a way that you prefer, but you prefer more leaning towards the extroverted side.
Right.
So then I wanted to share this John Holland's diagram of, it just kind of goes over these points again, like yours was social, conventional, and investigative. He has this diagram that kind of states if the more closer your categories are together, the more better it is and like realistic it is. So let me just share that diagram with you and get my video. Okay, so can you see this hexagon model? Okay, so this is John Holland's hexagon model, and I think you had the social, conventional, and investigative. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on what you think about them being kind of like, they're not super close to one another. There's usually like something in between each one, it looks like. So what are your thoughts with that?
Definitely different because, like I said, I don't know if that's maybe because like being the extroverted self I am, I'm all over the place. So I don't know if that maybe has something to do with it. But
yeah,
it's interesting to see because like there are like I can be creative when I want to be. So like the artistic side of it, like I could see, but I guess with the way it kind of they all kind of go together in some way somehow, I believe.
right.
So like with the social and investigative, like with the outlier of it all, and with investigative, I guess I could understand why like they wouldn't all be together because there's always that one little outlier between each one. So.
Right. Yeah, and well, I kind of think that makes unique in a way too. Like they're not always going to look like right beside each other. So, and I'm going to go back to, let me see, I'm going to go back to that focus and go over the rest with you. So then we go down to your values assessment. This is your values. It says altruism, helping society, helping others, and income. So how accurate, or what are your thoughts based on the values assessment?
I definitely, the two definitely outlie the income because I've always been the type that I wouldn't obviously mind having a good paying job, but I've never been one for the type that was like, I need this much salary because I've always been the type of person that has always seen it as, I'm going for this job because of what I like and what I'm doing. So like, for example, with school counseling, like I'm there for the children. I'm there to help them and to better them or, help them in any situation. I'm not there for the money.
Right. So you're more enjoyed with like getting enjoyment from your career than the income aspect of it.
Exactly. So income definitely was never like a importance to me.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely like the, helping society, helping others, like definitely.
Are you surprised see out income here in the values?
Not really, because like I said again, like, obviously I would like to have the money and be financially stable and when it comes time for future self as in the family or along those lines, like I want to be financially stable, but I also want to like it's not that importance to me.
Mm-hmm. Right, like it's not the top priority that you're like looking for. Okay. So we're gonna move into the personality assessment. Basically, this says when working on projects, you place emphasis on creating harmonious relationships with associates by being tactful and sympathetic to their needs. Going back to working well in the groups. You make practical decisions in a systematic fashion based on the facts along with your own personal values. So when looking at choosing your career, people with your personality type are attracted to occupations where you can work with people and see practical results from your actions. Some examples can be like health services, business services, community services, teaching, counseling, what you're going for, school counseling, marketing, human resources management, and selected areas of troubleshooting involving people. So I think that sounds pretty on par, with what you're going to school for. It does have the counseling in there, so I think that's pretty on par. And then for your skills, we have helping, listening, and problem solving. How do you feel with the skills? Like, do you think those are pretty accurate in terms of the skills?
Yeah, definitely. Because like I said, I'm always big on paying attention to what others have to say, giving their opinion, giving the facts. So definitely, yeah.
Okay. And then we move into leisure interest. So sharing, correct, and reality. You enjoy helping and advising people, tend to be concerned about people's welfare, promote learning and personal development, and are very interested in human relationships. You're often described as helpful, responsible, warm, cooperative, idealistic, sociable, tactful, friendly, kind, sympathetic, generous, patient, and understanding. So that's for sharing. Correct. You like to be involved in activities that follow set procedures and routines. And it also says you're often described as being conforming, practical, careful, obedient, efficient, orderly, conscientious, and persistent. And then reality, you prefer hands-on activities, tend to focus on things in the physical world. And here you're often described as being frank, genuine, humble, practical, natural, and persistent.
Yeah.
So you think that pretty much adds up again with leisure interest?
Yeah, definitely. Because the reality, being humble and everything, I like to make sure everyone knows, it is what it is. Like, I like to be upfront and honest with everyone. I don't like to play around the bush or anything. So.
Okay, just gonna stop that. And I am gonna go over your focus to kind of like the combined assessment where we'll discuss like your top careers and kind of like it lists like the salaries. Let me share that with you. Okay. So here, number one, it says occupation as massage therapist. This is in physical therapist assisting, and it can also look as athletic training. And I know you said you initially came in as athletic training, so I'm interested to see, your thoughts based upon this as being your number one.
I mean, I definitely see it just because, like I said, that was like my main purpose of coming to Cal and pursuing that career. So I definitely could see it, and I definitely see, wanting to help people, and so I always figured some type of medical field would be there as well. So I definitely
Right.
see athletic training. And again, obviously with the salary, it's not as much as you would think, so it doesn't but it doesn't phase me.
Right. Yeah. I think, massage therapist, you're still helping. It's, kind of in a different way than the school counseling that you're on for right now. But it's still in the profession of helping others.
Right.
So, and then you can see like some other ones here, and it obviously lists like the salaries beside it. So just going down through this kind of quick. Just let me know if
one really got me.
Which one?
Cardiologist.
The cardiologist,
I
yeah.
saw that one and I was like, I'm not good at any science, chemistry, or biology, so
Yeah, so you were kind of shocked that popped up like right there.
yeah, definitely.
Any other ones that stick out to you just as I kind of go down through these?
None really. I mean, just like I said, the counseling psychologist, I kind of figured that would be on there just because of how I like helping people, and But other than that, like others just kind of were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, like ones I've just never seen before either. So.
Right. Okay, so let me stop sharing that. And so after everything that we discussed here, I kind of want to give you some homework to pick a profession that we can discuss more for next session, something that you are interested in a little bit more, and it can even be the school counseling, and I'll show you some resources next session and we can go over that from there. Do you have any questions for me thus far?
No, not that I know of.
All right, well, I will see you next session then.
All right.
Hi, Kylie. Welcome back. So in this session, I kind of wanted to go over that career that I asked you to pick out, and I'll go over some resources you can look up to see kind of like the job outlook and look more into the career of your choice.
Yeah.
So that being said, which career did you select?
So I decided to go with school counseling, but I think they still call it guidance counselor. Just because I kind of want to see where I'm at with it all. Like I definitely know this is what I want to pursue, but I just kind of want to get a little bit more on it. So.
Right. So I'm going to share my screen and talk about these two resources that you can further look up. Let me see. Okay. So one second. Okay, let me try that again. Okay. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so here is the first resource that you can further look into careers. And so you said you wanted to explore school counseling more, which is what your major is here in grad school. And it is called guidance counseling still under this resource. This is careeronestop.org. And I'm just going to look up guidance counseling. So under this, school counseling is associated under this category. So when looking up this, it has the description of what a school counselor is. Advise and assist students and provide educational and vocational guidance services, also known as academic advisor, academic counselor, admissions counselor, career counselor, college counselor, guidance counselor, school adjustment counselor, school counselor, which is what you're going for, student development advisor, and student services coordinator. If we go down through here, this looks at the job outlook, and it says, will there be jobs? So you're in luck. New job opportunities are very likely in the future. It is expected to grow much faster than average. And then we can see over here projected employment. In 2020, there was 322,000 openings for school counselors, and in 2030, it's projected to be 359. So about a 12% change, and annual projected job openings is about 35,000. And then if we look at the wages here, it says the median is about 58,000. On the high end, 97,000, and on the lower end, 35. So I'm interested to see what your thoughts are about income.
I mean, like I said again, income was never like a big deal for me. So like even starting at the 58, like I'm like that's fine with me. Like that being an average is totally fine with me because I'm not there for like the money. Yeah, okay. Obviously, I needed to live off of,
Right.
but I'm there to help kids. Like there to be there for them.
Okay. So then when we look at education and experience, generally you have to have your master's degree, and that's what you're working towards. No work experience is needed, no on-the-job training. And then if we look at typical education, how much education people have in this career, it actually shows mostly have a master's degree, 22% have a bachelor's, and 5% have a doctoral or professional degree. So that's primarily everybody has, it looks like, a master's degree within this field. And then it does state that some states do require an occupational license to work in this career. So depending on, if you want to move out of the state, go to a different state, you'd probably have to have your license. I'm not sure exactly where. Wouldn't require a license, but if you want to look into it further, you can also find license details for your state or a state that you're looking towards moving to. And then so basically down here it tells you, some knowledge that people often know a lot about in this career. Are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened. It made a noise.
You're good.
Activities, what you might do in a day. This just kind of says that what your typical day might look like when doing this job. Some skills that people often have in this career, and abilities people often have in this career. So here under the abilities, I just wanted to focus on for a second, is good oral expression, written comprehension, oral comprehension, problem sensitivity, and written expression. How do you feel like your abilities fit into this category with most others have?
I mean, I definitely have a lot of those for sure. I'm gonna say like probably my biggest strength would be the problem sensitivity and the oral expressions. Those two are probably definitely like my higher suits of it.
So then I'm gonna stop my screen share, and I'm gonna go and open up another resource that you could look further into. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so this is the website for the U.S. Bureau and Labor Statistics. And so I'm gonna look up guidance counselor here. This is just another resource that you could use to look more in depth into this career or any other careers that you're interested in. So here, school and career counselors and advisors. We can see here the median pay in 2020 was $58,120 per year, with $27.94 per hour. Typical entry-level education, have to have a master's degree. Number of jobs in 2020, that's 322,000. Job outlook 2020 to 2030, it's 11%, so that's faster than average. And the employment change from 2020 to 2030 looks like 37,000 openings. So then under here for this website, it goes over what school and career counselors and advisors do. And it says school counselors help students develop academic and social skills. Career counselors and advisors help people choose a path to employment. So then we can see like work environment, what that would look like, how to become a school or career counselor, the pay, the job outlook, the state and area data, similar occupations, all that info is on here. So I'm gonna stop sharing again. So what were your thoughts about those two resources that I shared with you?
It definitely like gave me a better outlook on, what to expect when, going into the field, and what to expect even like as a career itself.
Mhm.
So this way I have a better understanding of like, what to expect, and kind of, the average income and that salary and along those lines. So definitely, definitely helped a lot.
Okay, I'm good. I'm glad that, that helped you. Where do you see yourself moving forward from here? Like, what's the plan moving forward?
So I think whenever I go for my internship and, do my practicum, I obviously want to work with different school districts, different, like high school, elementary, middle school, like kind of get a feel for all of them, not just one setting. I think that'll definitely help me, better my curriculum and actually better like my experiences, so that way whenever it comes to a certain situation, like I know what to do and how to handle it. I think from here I'll definitely, curriculum wise, alert like work a lot more towards, a good goal, and be able to, how do I put it, be able to become the best that I can be without,
Mhm.
over stressing too much, I think.
Right.
So, but and then for like future wise, like way down the road, I would like to get my doctorate. Um, I'm not sure in what yet. I don't know if it's going to be like some type of administrative. I definitely would love to go for that, but that is definitely a way down the road. For right now, just kind of get a feel for, counseling and school counseling, and, helping the kids and everything. So,
Yeah, it seems like you got it pretty figured out, like a good plan, and even long term, you're considering what that would look like for you. So, is there any questions that you have for me before we close up this session?
no, not that I know of. I'm pretty sure you answered all of them, and you kind of helped me, through the process really well. So it was good.
All right. Well, thank you, and I will see you next time we meet.
All right. Thank you.